Hey YouTube, it is Sulfine13, and I wanted to do a first impressions on the Versus Legacy United 4-pack. Um, Aside from Cliffjumper, who I had the chase mold, these guys are all new to me. I know that they're pretty much all reissues slash retools, but I wanted to go over my personal thoughts and just kind of look at some of the fun little things that I noticed while messing around with them. So first, let's start with Cliffjumper here. So first of all, he is just a slight. He is a repaint of Chase with a new head. Here he is compared to Chase. Honestly, I think this is a really good mold for him, and I do like that the gun can make his triple hand cannon here. I think that works out really well. Maybe they had intended that when they made it. I'm not very familiar with Chase, but I know he's from one of the more kiddie shows. But overall, it's definitely a mold I enjoy. Um, I do really like that head sculpt, and I do like that they even gave him the horns in the car mode. And I put the little claws that come for accessories sort of on his arms because they do, in a way, look like more horns. Just a little thing I noticed. I really like the shade of red they used, and those dark tinted windows are kind of nice. Overall, a really fun figure. Um, yeah. And just for a quick look, here he is compared to the other Prime Autobots from Legacy. Um, I know he had a close relationship with RC in the show. He didn't really interact much with Bulkhead, especially considering he was only around for basically the first episode. But there's how they scale and how they all look together. Out of all of them, I think that he's really the only one that feels very representative of his prime version. I do like the Bulkhead mold, but it's not really a prime mold. But, you know, nothing you can really do about that now. Alright, next up we have Tarantulas. In his, I believe this was his prototype slash commercial color scheme that they changed for the actual show. One thing of note about this particular figure is the different head sculpt. I believe that the original one had some more mandible looking bits on his mouth area, where this one's a little bit more robotic. He does come with that same uh, crossbow accessory as Black Arachnia, and also this little buzz saw. The bright orange is kind of a weird color for a spider. I think it was supposed to be more of a dark brown in the commercial. I could be wrong. But overall, it's an interesting figure, you know. The Beast Wars ones, I mostly get more for a nostalgia sort of reason. I grew up with the Beast Wars show. I was, I think, like 3 or something at the time. But overall, a nice little figure. For some comparisons, here he is next to. Oh, here he is next to Black Arachnia. Here he is with Inferno. So see how he scales with a Voyager. And the Beast Wars Scorponok. Now, just to give you some ideas. Overall, I haven't messed with this guy as much as the others. Again, I mostly get the Beast Wars for more of a nostalgia thing. I'm not actually that super interested in a lot of the Beast formers, but they're still kind of cool. And, you know, creepy crawlies are kind of interesting. So, there's that. Alright, next we have Squeeze Play, who is a retool of, I believe it was Titan's Return, Mind Wipe. I'm not actually that familiar with that particular character, but this figure was kind of fun to mess around with. I do like the whole pincer feet bit. It's kind of interesting, you know, maybe you could give him some monkey fun and have him grabbing stuff with his feet and throwing it around. They have some pretty solid joints, which is nice. It comes with this little silver gun that honestly feels more like an actual gun than a blaster because of the way it looks. I don't know how well you might could see that on my potato quality camera here, but it does come with this like spiked shield that's apparently also a tail. The one problem I have had with him is that the head joint is kind of loose. You know, if you shake him, you can kind of hear it wobbling. But other than that, he's not too flimsy in any way. All his joints feel pretty secure, and the actual head doesn't like fall off or anything. It's the neck joint that's really the loose part on mine, and that might just be mine. I do kind of wish this part could like fold up against the body a little better, but that's a pretty minor gripe. Overall, I think he's pretty interesting, and I'm curious to see if they'll do anything else with this mold in the future. I do actually like it. It's interesting seeing it's sort of on the wavelength of like Beast Formers, you know, just turn into some sort of weird monster. You know, that definitely feels like Bad Kai kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. And last but certainly not least, we have Tarn, the Voyager of the pack. He is redone in, I believe it was his Cyberverse color scheme. He's got some slightly different, I think brighter purples and whatnot on there. I don't actually have the original Tarn, as I mentioned, so I can't really compare them. But overall, it's not a bad color scheme in my opinion. I think it's nice. I'm really glad to finally have a Tarn figure. I know he was a real big deal in the comics, and he is certainly an interesting design. This figure definitely has a lot of fun little playability, especially just with his cannons, because they both come off. I mean, if you have the original figure, you probably know this, but he's got plenty of little ports for blast effects and for the cannons to go. You can have him hold the cannon like a pistol if you really want to. You can put it on his back where I have the sword stored. And this version does come with a sword, which I believe was part of the bludgeon mold. So that's kind of neat that they just went ahead and threw that in there. And if you really want, you can, you know, just throw absolutely everything, including the kitchen sink, right onto his back. So you got plenty of storage slash playability. Oh, and as everything starts falling apart on me. Oh no. You know, it'll look a little ridiculous, but you know, you can have everything on his back if you really want. Yeah, I definitely am a fan of how they sort of put this guy together, especially with the tank tread shoulders. That was certainly an interesting way they went about dealing with that, because you know, what looks like 3 tank treads is supposed to turn into like 2 full ones, and it's just a very interesting transformation. I think it would be cool if they could have made his mask removable, but you know, that's not the end of the world. I can understand why they wouldn't for the sake of price and, you know, not losing the mask. But overall, it is a very fun figure, and I've certainly enjoyed it. Finally, we will take a quick look at the packaging. There's not too much to go on here, but you know, some of the artwork is nice. There we got Cliff Jumper, Tarantulas being the spider, the only one clinging to the ceiling here. We got Squeeze Play, and then we got Tarn. Got their mug shots up here. Sorry about the glare from the light. These boxes tend to be a little shiny. Got the obligatory product shots, and there a number of steps and all that here. Got some of the legacy artwork here. Just words and whatnot on the bottom. And another legacy artwork on the side. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around so much. The box is kind of long. But overall, yeah. Get that out of the way. But yeah, those are just my first impressions. I know it's nothing too crazy, but out of the four, I think I'd have to say that I've probably enjoyed Cliffjumper and Tarn the most. These guys are definitely cool little bonuses. I definitely played with Tarn more, but that's because, you know, I already had the Chase mold, so this one was totally new to me. But overall, they're all pretty solid figures, and I think this pack is definitely worth picking up, especially if you don't have some of these molds. From what I understand, Tarn might be getting a reissue, so if you don't want him in his Cyberverse colors, you might be able to wait. But if you don't have him, I'd say go ahead and pick this up if you see it. This pack is a Target exclusive, but there are a couple places online where it has popped up. You might have to pay a little extra for it though. Overall, I think this pack is probably 4.5 out of 5.